Hi all, this is going to be a quick video in which I give you the answers for the 3.2.1 homework in Hurley, and I'll explain the answers too. So I'll just go through them one by one at first, and then I'll explain later. So number 1 is appeal to pity. Number 2 is ad hominem circumstantial. 3 is red herring. 4 is accident. 5 is appeal to the people bandwagon. 6 is ad hominem abusive. 7 is appeal to force. 8 is straw man. 9 is missing the point. 10 is tu quoque. 11 is tricky. No fallacy is probably the best way to do it. 12 is appeal to the people direct. 13, red herring. 14 is appeal to pity. 15 is accident. 16, ad hominem circumstantial. 17, ad hominem abusive. 18, no fallacy. 19, straw man. 20 is either appeal to force or appeal to fear. I'll explain that. 21 is red herring. 22 is either appeal, well, it's a kind of appeal to the people. It's either vanity or bandwagon. 23 is no fallacy. 24 is tu quoque, and 25 is missing the point. For the true-false questions on 3.2.2, 1 false, 2 true, 3 false, 4 true, 5 false, 6 false, 7 true, 8 true, 9 true, 10 true. So the only false in the true-false questions are 1, 3, 5, and 6. All right, so now let me go back and explain really briefly why those answers are correct for 3.2.1. So 1 is appeal to pity. Whether a job is awarded to somebody is a matter of merit, not about how many children they have to feed. So appealing to pity would be fallacious there. Number 2 is ad hominem circumstantial, and that's because this arguer is accusing Erica of only arguing for minimum wage increase because she could benefit from it. Number 3 is red herring. The issue is about the facilities of the school, and then it goes on and talks about smartphones never to come back, so distracting you from the issue. So red herring fallacy. 4 is accident. Applying a rule to a case in which it was not meant to be applied. Thrusting a knife into somebody, they should be arrested generally, but not in the case of the surgeon. So applying the rule to a case it was not meant to be applied to. 5 is bandwagon, talking about the, it's some kind of appeal to the people, either bandwagon or snobbery. Probably some combination. Bandwagon because sold 1 million copies, snobbery because everyone in the Manhattan cocktail circuit is talking about it. 6 is ad hominem abusive, just because somebody's an immoral reprobate. That doesn't mean they can't have good ideas. Incidentally, probably not an immoral reprobate. Number 7 is appeal to force. So when I read 7, I feel like the person giving the argument would have control over the people who are breaking the windows, overturning the trucks, and damaging the merchandise. So that would be appeal to force instead of fear. It'd be fear if they were just saying bad consequences would happen. Force if the arguer has some control over whether the bad consequences are happening. I think that's what's going on here. 8 is straw man. You can advocate for increased social security without being a socialist. Note that the arguer here says that Senator Barrow is committed to advocating socialism and then attacks socialism. claiming victory over his initial argument. Number 9 is missing the point. Changes in education might be warranted, but closing the schools is way too much. Not an obvious conclusion at all. Number 10, tu quoque. So a company is accused of doing something bad and they point the finger back at the accuser. So just because the accuser is also doing something bad doesn't mean that they're not, the company being accused is not doing something bad as well. 11, there's no real it doesn't really fit any of the fallacies we've covered. You might think it would be ad hominem abusive. But it's not saying they make bad arguments. It's saying that we elect idiots to office. It doesn't fit anything here. So I mean, on the face of it, look, it's just like a valid modus ponens, and it's not saying that somebody always has bad arguments by attacking them personally. It's just saying there seems to be some correlation between people being illiterate and morons getting elected to office. No fallacy. 12, appeal to the people direct. A very typical example here where they're rallying the crowd to their side. 13, red herring. The initial argument is about students watching too much TV. Then it goes on and on about how good TV shows are these days. Never to come back to the point about the alleged correlation between watching TV and students' reading and writing ability. 14 is appeal to pity. Either he was responsible for the collapse of the bank or he wasn't. It has nothing to do with how his personal life is. It might even make it so he's more likely to be responsible for the collapse of the bank. 15 is accident. Freedom of religion is not meant to extend to cases of human sacrifice, so extending a rule to a case it was not meant to be applied to. 16, ad hominem circumstantial. While she might be trying to scratch up more campaign contributions, that doesn't mean her argument that big banks are ripping off American consumers is not correct. 17, ad hominem abusive. So in this case, I mean, even cocaine snorting sex perverts and who are members of the Communist Party can have good arguments and can have good arguments in favor of the theory of evolution. So that's attacking him personally and saying his arguments are no good. Classic ad hominem abusive. 18 is probably no fallacy. If you kill 1 million people, then you're probably either insane or an extremely evil person. 19, straw man. You can argue that the government should play less of a role in American business without arguing that the government should be abolished altogether. The government could play some sort of other role. So this is a straw man argument. Then it attacks the position that the government shouldn't be involved at all, and then claims victory over Kudlow's original argument, even though it's not the same argument. 20 is either force or fear. It depends on who has the power to make the cutbacks. If a manager is giving this, or a higher up is giving this, and they're talking about making the cutbacks, it would be force. If it's just like a coworker giving this argument, then it would be appeal to fear. I lean force. 21 is a red herring. The issue is about animals being abused in biomedical research. Then it goes on to talk about pets, never coming back to the issue. So red herring, taking us away from the original topic. 22 is some kind of appeal to the people, either vanity or bandwagon. Probably vanity, since it's the Hollywood starlets, but it's a group of them, not an individual, so could be bandwagon, probably more vanity. Either way, it's appeal to the people. 23 I have as no fallacy, so it might originally seem that it would be ad hominem circumstantial. However, the conclusion isn't that her arguments are wrong. It's that we shouldn't take her testimonials too seriously. So because it's talking about testimonials, not arguments, and because it says we shouldn't take them too seriously, instead of we should outright reject them, it's going to be no fallacy. We shouldn't take paid for testimonials too seriously in our evaluation of products. We should look at the arguments themselves. And this is just warning against taking the testimonials too seriously. So that's fair. 24, tu quoque. The doctor is warning about smoking. He smokes himself. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't stop smoking. His arguments are just as legitimate. 25 is missing the point. He's suffering from amnesia, no recollection. We can only conclude that he did not commit the crime of murdering his wife, as he has been accused of doing. The correct conclusion to draw from the premise that he's suffering from amnesia and has no recollection is that we can conclude that we shouldn't take his word for whether he did or did not do something in the last 2 weeks. We have to look at the evidence. All right, so quick one, and I'll try to do one of these for each of the homework sets. I'll be back next time for a 3.3 lecture. See you next time.